The woman in your life who will do what she must do to comfort you and calm you down and let you rest now. The woman in your life, she can rest so easily. She knows everything you do because...
Hello everybody and welcome to Women's Spaces. My name is Elaine Holtz and I'm your host. And as always, I'm just thrilled about today's show. But what's so interesting about it, it is the last show of the year. And I want to wish everybody a happy 2014. May you have good health, peace of mind, loving relationships, and continued prosperity. I mean, who could ask for anything more, right? It's been a very interesting year and has gone by so quickly. I don't know if many of my listeners and viewers know, but I was actually appointed this year by our City Council member Gary Wysocki to be on Measure O, which is very exciting to me. It gives me a chance to see what's going on with gang prevention, as well as some of the new things that are happening in the fire department and the police department. I'm hoping this year that we'll have more of a focus on youth, particularly restorative justice, which is very, very important. And we had 1 billion rising. It's just amazing that the year went by so fast and that here we are. I'm also on the radio on 89.1 FM every Monday from 11 to 12 noon. And if you have any announcements or any people that you feel would benefit by being on the radio, please give me an email at elaine@womenspaces.com. It's at the end of the show, my email. And just amazing. I mean, the government was shut down, then it was opened up. Now they're debating unemployment. I mean, things are it's just amazing what goes on in the world. And the most tragic thing this year that happened, of course, was the shooting of that young 13-year-old boy, Andy Lopez. And Code Pink has been very, very busy. And I thought for the beginning of the year, we might do something a little bit different. They came out with something very interesting that I was really impressed by when I looked at it. And talks about the things that America can afford, they're so clever, these women, the things that they come out with. And some of the things they're talking about in this little chart is the basic things that they can afford is infrastructure maintenance. That means repairing our roads. Pay raises for federal employees is not there. Assistance for the unemployed, like I said, is being debated now. They're cutting back. They're saying we have to cut back on teachers, firemen. They don't want public education. They're cutting back on our police. I mean, on and on. It's amazing, the things that they're cutting. And of course, we're struggling for adequate and affordable health care. I mean, we do have Obamacare, and I understand many people are signing up and hopefully are saving some money, but we need affordable health care. We need single payer, which would be so simple if we would just get into it. And then disaster relief. I mean, there's all this debate whether we're responsible for other people or not. And I think if we call ourselves a Christian nation, we have to take care of each other. We have to support one another. I hope that's what our taxes is going for. But of course, the last thing is, what can America afford? It's the military. I mean, it's amazing to me when I think about it. What I heard on the news the other day is that the military is getting $527 billion. I mean, what is going on here? You would think that we would have a little bit more money for health care, for education, for pay raises, for all the things that we're saying that we can't afford, that we could afford if we would cut the military. So let's look again at this things America can afford. Basic infrastructure, maintenance, pay raises for employees, assistance for unemployed, more money for teachers, firemen, public education, police, above all, adequate health care, and then disaster relief. And what can we afford? We can afford the military, which is, to me, it's just unheard of when you start thinking about it. Well, I thought because today is the first show of the year, and I'm talking about the military, I would play one of my favorite songs that I had recorded specifically for the song. It's called Please Peace by Linda Farrow. And it's an appeal. Please peace. We need peace on earth. We need to take our money and we need to bring those dollars home. We need to be improving particularly our education and health care. That is so stunning to me that they kind of ignore it or start cutting it or make a big deal about it. Like, oh, we're not supposed to do that. It's a bad thing to give our people health care. I mean, what kind of logic is that when you start thinking about it? Anyway, let's listen to Linda Farrow with Please Peace. And when we're listening to it, let's think that perhaps 2014 will be the year that we actually begin to work towards having peace on earth.
What were you thinking? What did you think we'd do? Stay small, stay silent, or think more like you. Go ahead and try to sleep tonight. We will stay awake. We will keep watching for our children's sake. And the lullaby we'll sing is please, 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 peace. And we'll keep on singing, keep on, till the day we die. You will hear a mighty cry. You will hear it. You will hear a mighty cry. You will hear it. You will hear a mighty cry. You will hear it. Please, 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 please.
I never get tired of hearing that song. It's just amazing to me what a beautiful song it is. I mean, it's just, please, peace. Do you think as women that we are going to remain silent? How can we remain silent when our children are being killed, when our children are being affected by not having education, by not having good health care? I mean, we need to start rethinking what our values are. I mean, what are our values? Are our values war? Are our values peace? Well, if our values are peace, then we have to stop warring. You know, I've heard it so many times that all wars are fought in the name of peace. Well, if that's true, we would have peace on earth by now. We've had so many wars. I mean, I'm 73, and since the beginning of my life, there's been war. So, I mean, it's very, very sad and very disheartening when you start thinking about it. But when I listen to that song, it's an appeal to our leaders, the powers that be, that we want to have peace on earth, goodwill to all. We want to bring people together and start developing the planet the way it should be developed and stop destroying it. Well, I have to say, one of the most disturbing, I'm going to move into talking a little bit about Andy Lopez. A 13-year-old young boy by the name of Andy Lopez on October 22nd, 2013 was killed. There were 7 bullets that went into his young body. I do not understand why it happened. I do not understand why there are articles coming out that, oh, it's the parents' fault because he shouldn't have been carrying this toy gun. I mean, let's forget about the toy gun. Let's forget about the parents and whose responsibility it is, and let's start shifting it. Let's start asking one question as women and as mothers. Why was it necessary to put that many bullets into a young boy's body? And even even with the toy gun, I mean, why didn't they shoot him in the leg or shoot it up in the air or yell with the bullhorn? There's 1,000 things that could have happened. And I do not understand why those 7 bullets had to be pumped into him. And that's the question we should be asking. And we should also ask ourselves, is this acceptable in our community that we have these kinds of killings of our young people? It's not acceptable to me. I'm not saying that this was maybe he shouldn't have been carrying the gun. Maybe the parents should have been told him not to. But you know something? He was returning that gun to a friend's house. And from what I understand, many, many young people in that area and all through Santa Rosa, all through Sonoma County, play with these air guns. And I just want to flash a picture. This to me was the most riveting picture of the year. And there she is, Sojourn Lopez, over the casket of her son. And you know, I'll tell you something. I think that she is really holding back, because I know if that were my son, I'd want to jump in the casket. I would be so distraught. And the fact that he was gunned down the way he was is just a horrible, horrible situation. And I think as women, we need to stand up. After all, we are the birthers. We are the ones who bring the children into the world. And my heart goes out to the Lopez family. I want to send them my condolences, even though here it is in January. It doesn't matter. That grief, I looked into her eyes, and I want to tell you, ladies who are listening, I said to myself, thank you, Great Spirit, for not putting that type of thing into my life. I mean, the thought of what it must feel like to be a mother and to lose her son that way. Well, you know, in honor of Sojourn Lopez and in honor of Andy Lopez, what I want to do is I really want to remind particularly my women viewers and listeners what it is to be a woman and how powerful it is. We are the ones who bring forward the future. We should all be standing. Just think about this. Let me ask you one question. Do you ever want that to be you? Do you ever want to have to go through that experience of losing a son in this way? It's hard enough when you lose a child through illness or through birth. And it's just horrific when you lose them through war. But a young, innocent boy of 13 years old, and he was a good boy. He played the trumpet in school. He was a good friend. I mean, the kids have been coming out in all the high schools protesting this horrible shooting. I mean, why would they do that if this young man did not have some impact in their lives? So I want to play this song to remind us, all of us, what it is to be a woman and what it is to really to see that as women, what we are responsible for.
Woman's spirit runs deep. Woman loves with compassion. Our perfection is complete. Woman's spirit is graceful. Woman's spirit is wise. Woman's spirit is moving, bringing love into our lives. Woman's spirit is passion. Woman's spirit is birth. Woman's power unfolding to honor life on earth. Woman's spirit is beauty. Woman's spirit is beauty. Woman's spirit runs
Woman's spirit is graceful. Woman's spirit is graceful. Woman's spirit is wise. Woman's spirit is wise. Woman's spirit is moving. Woman's spirit is moving. Bringing love into our lives. Woman's spirit is passion. Woman's spirit is passion. Woman's spirit is birth. Woman's spirit is birth. Woman's power unfolding. Yes, power unfolding. To honor life. To honor life on earth. Passion. Woman's spirit is passion. Woman's spirit is birth. Woman's spirit is birth. Woman's power unfolding. Woman's power unfolding. To honor life on earth. We're gonna honor life on earth. Yes, to honor life on earth. Honor life on earth.
Yes, you know, it's really interesting when you start thinking about that. We have one defect, and that defect is that we forgot who we are. Well, you know, this show is partly dedicated to Andy Lopez. He was born in 2000 and he was killed in 2013. I want to show his picture here. He was a young, beautiful boy. And I just want to send, once again, my condolences out to the Lopez family. I just think it's just a tragic thing that has happened. And that as a community, we must come together. I'm just gonna get my identifier here. As a community, we must come together. We must honor the Lopez family and send our condolences. But you know, it's true that women have one defect, and that is they forget who they are. And that is the whole purpose of the Women's Spaces Pledge, which we're going to the last moments in the show, which we're going to talk about again. I've been doing the pledge now for about a year, and I'm going to flash it on the screen here. It's very, very interesting. And then I'm going to tell you this, let's do the pledge, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit of the story about it. But repeat after me. My self-esteem does not depend on anything outside of me. My self-esteem depends on my relationship with myself and my higher power. And you know, when you use the word higher power, it could be anything. It could be God, it could be the universe, it could be Jesus, it could be whoever you find comfort in. I personally myself, I love the word higher power, and I love the word great mystery, because that's what we're all living in. You know, we're living in this great mystery. So let's do the Women's Spaces Pledge one more time, and then I'm going to tell you the whole story behind it. My self-esteem does not depend on anything outside of me. My self-esteem depends on my relationship with myself and my higher power. Ooh, that just makes me feel, I don't know what it is, but it just makes me feel so good when I say that pledge. I actually say it every morning to myself. Now, how the pledge, what happened is, how I came about to do the pledge is my grandson was about 5 or 6 years old, and he was at daycare center. And he came out this one day and he said, "Grandma, I'm a bad boy. Ryan's a bad boy." And he started to cry. And I said, "Ryan, who told you you're a bad boy?" He said, My teacher said I'm a bad boy and I'm stupid." And I said, "What?" And I looked at him and I said, "Repeat after me." And I said, "My self-esteem," and he goes, "My self-esteem does not depend on my teacher." And then he says, okay, Grandma. And then I said to him, wait a minute, Ryan. Your self-esteem doesn't depend on anything outside of you. It depends on your relationship with yourself and your higher power. Well, he didn't quite understand about what higher power was. And I said, what's higher power, Grandma? And I said, well, remember you told me that your knee hurts and I shouldn't worry about it because your body knows how to heal itself? And he goes, right, Grandma. I said, well, that's your higher power. That's something within you that can take care of you. And he says, okay, let's do it again, Grandma. And that's how I came up with my self-esteem does not depend on anything outside of me. My self-esteem depends on my relationship with myself and my higher power. Well, if he could get it, I'm sure all of us can get it. Anyway, I hope most of my listeners are over 6 years old. Well, to even bring us up to today, my grandson graduated UC Santa Cruz. He's got a degree in environmental studies. Now he's going off to Thailand with his lovely girlfriend, Amber, and their self-esteem is so intact. They say, we have the confidence. We can go to Thailand. We can take care of ourselves. And then I have a granddaughter, Caitlin Beverly, and she also is doing so well. And I used to have her do that affirmation every time I get a hold of her. I said, okay, Katie, raise your right hand and let's repeat after me. And she always laughs and says, oh, Grandma, do we have to do that again? But she does it. And now she's a grown woman. She's 22 years old, and I'm amazed at the esteem that she has. And it all has to do with our recognizing that within each one of us, there is a power so great that if we tap into it, if we just tap into it and give ourselves permission to believe it. So let's look at it one more time. My self-esteem does not depend on anything outside of me. My self-esteem depends on my relationship with myself and my higher power. And I encourage particularly all my women viewers and listeners, share that with your children. Share that with the teachers and have them have their children say it in their classroom. Every child should be saying that every single day, particularly females, particularly women, because our self-esteem is taken away from us every single day with every ad that you should be 5'5" and weigh 10 pounds. I mean, there's so many things that we're up against. Oh, if you don't have so much money, if you don't have this, if you don't have that, that does not determine your self-esteem. What determines your self-esteem is how you feel about yourself, your relationship with yourself. If you can't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. Well, once again, I want to let people know you've been listening to Women's Spaces. My name is Elaine B. Holtz. I'm your host. I am thrilled to be part of C Media here in Santa Rosa. I want to thank them. I want to encourage all my viewers and listeners to come on down and become a member of C Media or become a member of KBBF 98.1, our bilingual station here in Santa Rosa, or KWTF, which is one of our radio stations here online in Santa Rosa. There's so many things that we can do to promote peace, to promote community. But we have to get off our duff and we have to do something. We have to do something for peace. Imagine if each one of us just did a little bit. And I want to encourage you, if you're looking to volunteer somewhere, be my guest and go to the Peace and Justice Center. They have a great newsletter. We have one here at the C Media location, and they have a whole list of all the different places that you could volunteer here in Sonoma County. They say it's better to give than receive. Well, I look at it like this. When you're giving, somebody else is receiving. So by them receiving, they're giving to you. So really, it's like a big circle. Everybody's just giving and giving and giving and receiving and receiving and receiving. And guess what? Peace on earth will happen. Anyway, this is Elaine B. Holtz. I'm the host and producer of Women's Spaces. From the bottom of my heart, I want to wish each and every one of you a happy 2014. And my prayer is that this year, that we find a way to start sitting down and figuring out how can we have peace on earth. Goodwill to all. Once again, Happy New Year And I look forward to being with you all next year and for many, many years.
Your life will do what she must do to comfort you and calm you down and let you rest now. The woman in your life, she can rest so easily. She knows everything you do because the